All right, week 8. It's already started. I think a few teams that are playing right now are Oklahoma, Kansas, and then I've got the Cincinnati Navy game right now. So, big games in the top 25 this week. Obviously, Oregon, UCLA, because that's where College Game Day was going to be. Oregon they have a 53.1% chance of winning this game. UCLA is a 2.5-point favorite. Do I think Oregon's going to come out and win this? Maybe. Is it going to be close? Definitely. If they play like they did against Cal last week, it's definitely going to be close. But if they play like they did against Cal, then UCLA is going to definitely win this. Next game will be Wake Forest at Army. As crazy as that sounds, that is a big game. Wake Forest has a 65.4% chance of winning that, and they're only a 3-point favorite. I think Wake Forest is going to definitely cover that 3 points. They're probably going to win this game by way more than just 3. They've played really well this year. Army, obviously, they have struggles when they play big teams like that, especially when they're ranked. I think Wake Forest is going to probably win that game maybe by 20, maybe 14. I don't know. Another game is Wisconsin at 25 ranked Purdue. I tried to say Purdue. Purdue has a 55.2% chance of winning, but Wisconsin is a 3-point favorite. I think Wisconsin can get that win. I think they can pull that upset against Purdue. The only reason Purdue's ranked is because they beat Iowa last week. But of course, Purdue beat Iowa, and Iowa didn't play like they did all season. So I think Wisconsin can win that. I think they'll win it by 10, maybe. 3 is the lowest I'll go. Then you've got number 8 Oklahoma State at Iowa State. Now, Iowa State's always one of those sleeper teams that's in the Big 12. You never know who to expect. They've got a 78.2% chance of winning, and they are a 3-point favorite. So I think Iowa State can probably pull the upset today and get ready for their next game, which I believe is against Oklahoma, I believe. If they can beat Oklahoma State, that'd be a great win for them, especially if they're if their next game is against Oklahoma. That'd be momentum gainer, basically. I think Iowa State will win this from maybe between 3 and 10. I think it's going to be close either way. Clemson at Pittsburgh. Clemson hasn't looked like Clemson all season, so we'll see how that goes. Pittsburgh has a 63.1% chance of winning, and they're a 3-point favorite. As much as I like to see upsets, I don't know if Clemson has played well enough to make me believe that they can pull the upset today. Pittsburgh's a pretty good team. They've only got 1 loss. How they got that 1 loss, I'll never know, because even watching them play against Tennessee, they were great. Next game would be San Diego State at Air Force. Air Force is a 3.5-point favorite, and they have a 53.6% chance of winning. San Diego State's they've been good here past few years. I think they can go into Air Force Stadium and basically hold them off from upsetting them. I think San Diego State will walk out of there with a 3-point victory. Another big game, USC at Notre Dame. Notre Dame has a 77.3% chance of winning, and they're a 7-point favorite. Now, I say this is a big game. Obviously, Notre Dame has a really good chance of winning, but I say it's a big game because it is a rivalry game. You never know who can win these games, especially the bigger the rivalry, the bigger the game is. USC and Notre Dame have played each other for what seems like a bajillion years, and they keep going back and forth. Notre Dame plays well, USC's not playing so good. USC somehow pulls out a win, and vice versa. I think USC can actually pull the upset. I think they'll probably win it by 3 to 4, give or take. Then the last game that I've got, that's a big game, literally an even game almost. You've got NC State at Miami. Now, some of you may say, but Miami plays like garbage this year. I haven't seen anything good out of them. Well, maybe not. But it is a conference game, and they are in Miami, so that gives them kind of an edge. NC State has a 50.9% chance of winning. Like I said, it's pretty even. And they are a 3-point favorite. So we'll see how that game goes. I think NC State will get the win. I don't think they'll win it by maybe 13, 14. Just because they've played well this season. All right. Upset alert. I've got Oregon because they are playing in UCLA. Like I said, I think if Oregon plays like they did against Cal, UCLA's got this win. But if they play like they have before the Cal game, Oregon's got this. Oklahoma State, I've got them on upset alert because they are playing in Iowa State. Like I said, Iowa State's a sleeper team, so anything can go there. If Oklahoma State wins, it's going to be close, or they could win big. If Iowa State wins, it could be close, or they could win big. You never know. But I've got Oklahoma State on upset alert. I've also got Pittsburgh. They're playing against Clemson. They are in Pittsburgh, so they've got home field advantage. But Clemson, I mean, they're still, even though they haven't played well this season, they're still a pretty decent team. I think they're good enough to pull an upset of the top 25, especially if they're not ranked higher than 23rd. Next team I've got is San Diego State at Air Force. Air Force is one of those teams that you can't really look over. They take advantage of you looking over them, and they come in there and they beat you. But I think San Diego State will hold on, win by 3-10. Notre Dame versus USC. Obviously, it's a big rivalry game, so Notre Dame has a big chance of losing. But USC has a big chance of losing. So that game could shock you, honestly. And then I've got NC State playing in Miami. Like I mentioned, if NC State continues to play like they have all season, especially against Clemson, this is going to be an easy win. But if Miami can somehow pull something out of their repertoire of plays, they can probably win it. Moving on to the SEC. This week, Arkansas Pine Bluff travels to Arkansas. I'm sorry to say, but Arkansas is going to just roll over them and snap that 3-game losing streak. LSU at Ole Miss. That's going to be a pretty good game. LSU's riding high right now. They beat Florida last week, and now they get another ranked team to play against, who could be on a what you would call a hangover, because they did play Tennessee last week and come out of there with a 5-point win. I think LSU can pull that upset. If they do, awesome. I'm done with that. But I think if Matt Corral plays like he has all season, then Ole Miss is going to win this. And then you got Mississippi State at Vanderbilt. That's going to be an interesting game. Vanderbilt almost had an SEC win last week, but they I guess you could say they choked. I don't know. They ended up losing to South Carolina. So I think Mississippi State can win this game today. I think they're going to win it by maybe 10-13. And then you've got Tennessee at Alabama. I think we can hang in there. I don't think we can get the win, but I'm hoping for the win, obviously. If Hendon Hooker is not injured and he plays, we'll have an even bigger chance of winning. We'll have a great chance of even being competitive in this game. We are in Tuscaloosa, so the noise of the fans is going to be ridiculous, I'm sure. But like I said about the Notre Dame USC game, this is also a huge rivalry game. Tennessee's trying to snap a streak, and Alabama's just trying to keep on rolling over us. If we're going to prove that we are getting better, we're going to have to at least be competitive in this game. And if we can get the win, everybody's going to have to start looking at Tennessee. I'm just saying. If we do get a win, I think it's going to be a close victory. It's going to be like maybe 1 to 3 points. If Alabama just rolls in there and does Alabama things, they're going to win this game by 50. I'm sorry to say. Next game is South Carolina at Texas A&M. Texas A&M is probably going to get this win because it's Texas A&M against South Carolina. South Carolina has been kind of at the bottom of the SEC this year. They've just kind of been sleepwalking through the season. It's kind of weird. But I think Texas A&M is going to get this win because they are at Kyle Field, home of the 12th man. And you know how that 12th man gets. It's loud enough to beat Alabama. And then teams on a bye week is Georgia, Kentucky, Auburn, Florida, and Missouri. We've got a few games that played throughout the week. I don't know if you've seen it, but on Wednesday night, Appalachian State pulled the upset against Coastal Carolina, 30-27. That was Appalachian State's first victory over a AP Top 25 team since 2007. Now, why is that relevant? Because 2007 is also when Appalachian State pulled that big upset that nobody can forget about against Michigan in the Big House. They did it again on Wednesday night. Of course, they were in their home stadium, so it kind of helped out a little bit. But they did beat Coastal Carolina, who's been a great team past few seasons. And then last night, Yeah, it was last night. The SMU Mustangs hosted a Tulane Green Wave, and they got that win easily. It was 55-26. The SEC games are definitely going to be close, and they're going to be some games that you probably want to watch. Especially the game like LSU, Ole Miss. Tennessee and Alabama could be a good game. You never know. But all these games are going on. It's going to be fun-filled, and a lot of games could go either way. The top 25 games I'm looking forward to because there's been upsets all season long. Actually, the top 3 have lost 2 weeks in a row, actually. Alabama got beat by an unranked team. That was Texas A&M. Iowa got beat by an unranked team. That was against, obviously, Purdue. And earlier in the season, Oregon got beat by an unranked Stanford when they were in the top 3. So this has been a wild season that everybody's looking forward to. I love watching upsets. I'm a big fan of the underdog. And any chance that I get to see an underdog win, I'm all about it. But I think a lot of these unranked teams could get their wins this week. And they can move on to bigger and better things next week and ride that momentum. The SEC Power Rankings this week. You got Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Kentucky, Texas A&M, Auburn, Arkansas in 7th. The bottom half, LSU, Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Missouri, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt. Some of these teams they've been playing outstanding. Obviously, the number 1 team in the nation, Georgia, has played great. They've only allowed 46 points this season. That's 6.6 a game. That's pretty much first in all of the NCAA. They've scored the 3rd most points this season, or in the SEC anyway. And then they've averaged 38.4. That's 4th in the SEC. Alabama is 1st in both of those departments. They've scored 315. That's 45 a game. But they're 5th on defense with 141 points allowed and 20.1 points per game. Defenses win championships, and if Georgia's defense continues to play like they have all season, it's a gimme. Georgia's going to win the Natty this year. Would I be disappointed? Probably. Would I care if it's Georgia? Absolutely not. keep telling everybody I'm ready to see somebody else win the national championship other than Alabama and Clemson. And I think we've got a good chance of that this year, especially with Georgia, Cincinnati playing well. All those teams that are ranked this year in the top 10 all have a huge chance of winning, especially if you're looking at Georgia. Georgia has been a well-rounded team all season. Offense, defense, and they've been playing with backups. Their backup quarterback, Stetson Bennett, has played well. You wouldn't even think that he's a backup, honestly. But they're going to take this week off and get ready for their next game next week. Hopefully that's a good game, but who knows. Tennessee's going to get their game this week against Alabama. If we can play well, that's going to give us a little bit of momentum going into our bye week so we can get ready for Kentucky. We've got 2 big games after today. 2 more big games, and that's pretty much it. We got Kentucky in Lexington, and we got Georgia in Knoxville. Do I think we're going to beat Georgia? Probably not. Do I think we have a chance against Kentucky? Yes. I think we can actually win that game. My prediction for today's game, though, is 45-28. That was before I made that prediction before Tennessee started the season. I didn't think they were going to be that great or as good as they have been this season. So that's why I have them losing 45-28. But now, I think it could be a lot closer. I feel like if everything falls our way and we play well, we could win 20 or 31-28 maybe. Or if we keep it close, 48 to, I'll say 35. But I'm going to watch some big games today. I'm going to watch a whole lot of college football. I'm going to have a great Saturday. And I hope you all do too. And I will see you all for the Week 8 recap.